Presenters and everyone joining in person and via live stream, thank you for being here. Tonight, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Jake Larson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This one's mine. Like I swear, right? More than that.
Next item on the agenda is Robert's Rules of Order. I think we're all familiar with them. I would just ask again for trustees to please wait several seconds to be recognized. Sometimes I might want to speak myself and others might want to get in line to speak. So if you wait a second or two to be recognized, others will also have a chance to seek recognition without having to interrupt the current speaker. Item 4 is approve and/or amend the agenda. The board may take action to approve or amend the agenda. The board may only amend the agenda after the start of a meeting by making a motion, stating the reason for the amendment, and stating the good faith reason the agenda was not included. The agenda item was not included in the original agenda posting. But does anybody wish to make any amendments, or do we have, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the board agenda as presented.
I moved that we approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. That motion passes. Next on the agenda is awards and recognition, and presented by Courtney Fisher, our Director of Communications.
Good evening, Chairman Knopf, trustees, Dr. Howell, Ms. Johnson, and student representatives tonight. I will remind you, it was really hard to hear in the back, so it got a little bit better, but just so you know, making sure you have the microphone.
You bet.
Okay, perfect. So tonight we were, and this one's really, really hot. So I'm going to stand back a little bit. So tonight we will recognize several. Super hot. Okay. Better? That's much better. Okay. Tonight we will recognize several individuals who through their actions support and embody our district's mission to think more, learn more, and be more together. First up, we have our CAKE Award. School District 25 believes a safe, supportive, caring, and respectful environment is essential to learner success. The School District 25 Education Foundation, in partnership with our local Johnson Family McDonald's, sponsors the CAKE Award to recognize one elementary and one secondary learner each month from October through May. CAKE stands for Character, Attitude, Kindness, and Encouragement. Nominations are submitted by teachers who observe these qualities in their learners and are approved by each school's principal. Recipients are recognized here with us tonight, and they also receive a gift card for both the learner and their nominating teacher, as well as a $50 book donation in the learner's name for their school library, also courtesy of Johnson Family McDonald's. So at this time, I would like to invite Miss Anela Jake and her teacher. She was nominated by Miss Carrie McNulty and Miss Ann O'Donnell. If you'll join me at the podium, please. Okay, it's Anila. Anila is in the 5th grade at Indian Hills Elementary School. And this month we are recognizing her for the CAKE Award, our Elementary Learner of the Month. In their nomination, Mrs. Carrie McNulty and Miss Ann O'Donnell described Anila as a learner who consistently leads with empathy, perseverance, and kindness. They shared that Anila demonstrates patience and respect toward all of her classmates and often chooses to support peers who may need extra encouragement or understanding. Her teachers noted that Anila approaches challenges with determination and a positive mindset, always putting forth her best effort. Even when learning becomes difficult, she remains focused and committed to improving. They also highlighted that Anila is a natural encourager in the classroom. Whether helping a classmate work through a challenging task or offering kind words when someone feels discouraged, Anila helps create a supportive learning environment for everyone around her. Her teachers wrote that she is not only a dedicated learner, but also a compassionate friend whose actions reflect the true spirit of the CAKE Award. So please join us in congratulating Anila, and I'm going to give you this certificate. And our board members would love to congratulate you and say hello. So congratulations. Thanks for being here tonight.
Keep up with the good work. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
And now at this time, I'd like to invite Lily Russell and her teacher, Mrs. Pauline Smith, to join me at the podium. Yeah, perfect. So Lily Russell is in the 11th grade at Highland High School, and she is the yearbook design editor. And as that, Mrs. Smith described her as an exemplary leader that any team would be lucky to include. According to Mrs. Smith, Lily works incredibly hard and consistently goes above and beyond what is expected of her. She is quick to help anyone who needs support, whether that means answering questions, solving problems, or stepping in when a teammate feels overwhelmed. Mrs. Smith noted that Lily holds people to high standards, but she does so with kindness and respect, creating an environment where others feel encouraged to do their best. One moment that stood out occurred when the yearbook staff was facing major software issues that caused frustration and stress across the team. During that challenging time, Lily remained calm and positive. Instead of complaining or becoming discouraged, she focused on solutions, finding workarounds, and helping her teammates stay grounded when emotions were running high. Mrs. Smith also shared that Lily's steady leadership and positive attitude helped the team navigate a difficult situation and continue moving forward together. Her willingness to support others and lead by example makes a lasting impact on the yearbook staff and the Highland High School community. I can't wait to see this year's edition. So please join me in congratulating Lily and thanking Mrs. Smith for the nomination. And there's this for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Lily, congratulations. Good luck. Thank you so much.
And thank you for setting such a positive example in your school.
That's all.
Okay, next up, we have our PIES Award. The Employee of the Month PIES Award recognizes our employees who positively influence educational success. The award is for employees who go above and beyond in that effort. And PIES Award recipients receive a $50 gift card from Lookout Credit Union, our educational partner in this award. So at this time, is Mrs. Tana Eborn here? If you will come up with Miss Mandy Burrell, who nominated her. Welcome, thank you for being here. So this month, we recognize Tana Eborn, a third grade teacher at Ellis Elementary School, as our PIES Award recipient for going above and beyond to support learners and colleagues. In her nomination, Mandy Burrell shared that when she thinks of someone who has positively influenced educational success, Mrs. Eborn is the first person who comes to mind. Mrs. Eborn served as Ms. Burrell's mentor teacher when she first began her career. During one early classroom visit, Mrs. Eborn taught a lesson to Mrs. Burrell's first graders that left a lasting impression, not only on the learners in the room, but also on Mrs. Burrell as a new educator. The example she set that day helped shape the kind of classroom environment that Ms. Burrell strives to create for her own learners. Now, 20 years later, Ms. Burrell shared that she continues to learn from Mrs. Eborn and deeply respects the example she has set throughout her career. She described Ms. Eborn as someone who is positive, respectful, and understanding while maintaining high expectations for every learner. Through strong relationships and thoughtful support, Mrs. Eborn helps students grow and succeed. As Ms. Eborn prepares to conclude her career this year, her colleagues reflect on the lasting influence she has had throughout the Ellis Elementary community. Her mentorship has shaped fellow educators, and her care for students has left a meaningful mark on countless young people in our community. Ellis Elementary will not be the same without her presence, and many who have worked beside her are grateful to have learned from her and to call her a friend. Through her dedication, mentorship, and lasting influence on both learners and educators, Tana Eborn truly exemplifies what it means to be a PIES Award recipient. So with that, congratulations. Thank you. This is courtesy of Lookout Credit Union, and this is for you for the nomination. And this is also for you, and if you will let our board members congratulate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have some career technical education learner achievements. As you notice, we have several of our learners here in the audience from PV Tech, and they certainly deserve and earned this outstanding recognition in front of you tonight for their assessments and competitions. So first up is the fall qualifier. These are the top 10 in the state of Idaho. And the following instructors, and I'll just call your name if you'll stand where you are. The following instruction, you want to bring them up?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to bring them up to, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, come on up, come on up.
Yeah, I want to see.
Come on up. Please. Then they can just wave or something.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So the following instructors are recognized in their role in preparing learners who achieved fall qualifier status and placed in the top 10 in the state of Idaho. Ms. Lori Lombard from Century High School. Is Lori here today? Nick Sorrell from Highland High School, and Jordan Smith. I know Jordan's here from Pocatello High School. So first up, we have our Microsoft Office Specialist Competition results, and this is for the Office 2019 version. In Microsoft Word, we had a second place for Seth Rasmussen, a 10th place for Clara Brown. In Microsoft Excel, we had a 4th place from Peyton Peterson from Pocatello High School, 5th place for Elena Harrison, Pocatello High School, 7th place for Emmett Richens, Pocatello High School, 9th place for Bryce Holverson, Pocatello High School, and 10th place for Hunter Bassett, Pocatello High School. Next, we had Microsoft PowerPoint. 1st place, Austin McDonald, Highland High School. 8th place, Samuel Follett, Century High School. 10th place, Seth Rasmussen for Highland High School. So Seth got 2 of those. And then we also have, you see our Fire One Skills class up here, and they did their assessment with 100% passage rate for every single one of them that took the test. That is phenomenal. And we have their illustrious instructor, Mr. Mark Brood here, and the following learners took and successfully passed the Fire One Skills assessment, resulting in 100% passage rate for the group. Just wave when I call your name. Case Brown, Gabriel Capson, Fabian Cedino Hernandez, Andrew Cox, Amelia Kerr, Carlos Gutierrez, Jenna Jemmett, Parker Jensen, Jake Larson, Josiah Reynolds, and additional learners that were recognized are Mason Rowberry, Merrick Vandershave, and William Wooden. Congratulations. And if you guys will now turn around and just go through the line and let our board members congratulate you, that would be wonderful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you all.
Good luck to you. Good luck. Congratulations.
Nice job.
Thank you. Good luck.
Nice job. I loved watching the birds.
Congratulations.
Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations.
You here?
Good job. Congratulations.
I know your dad. Congratulations, guys.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Are you guys?
Appreciate you.
Good job. Congratulations. Hey, thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
And that concludes the recognitions for this month and awards. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have reports from our student representatives.
Got to lean in.
Got a lead in?
No, you can't hear you.
Oh, my goodness,
There you go.
okay. Next, we have our reports from our student representatives. And who do we have here tonight? From Century High School?
Oh.
Lisa?
Yeah, got to get your names.
And I believe you're new. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ben Rouse, and so first order of business, we did just have our elections for new officers. So me and Jackson Monson, who is not present here, usually who will be with me, we are the ASB co-presidents this year. Next off, our showings for James and the Giant Peach have started. That's our school play. Today's the last night. I think we've made quite a bit of money off of it, and it's been really well done. So that's that for our drama program. Track and field, we had our first meet, which is the first time I think we've ever held a meet this early without it getting canceled. So that was fantastic. Our tennis team was over in Boise this last weekend. I believe they won the tournament up there. They did very well. and I believe that was their 300th tournament win. Boys baseball and girls softball have also started. The teams are struggling a little bit, but they've started, so that's what's up. Nationals cheer and state. At Nationals, we took 3 titles. We took a first, second, and third. The first and second in partner stunt, and the third in pom. So that was kind of a big deal. And we also qualified to state for our sideline. Next up was school business. We have a tardy challenge going on right now. It's themed with March Madness, and so we've had the teachers going head to head for like a pizza party for all their classes. So the teachers with the least amount of tardies wins that, and I believe we're in our finals this week. So we will find out who the winner is this week. Also, we have our 3v3 basketball fundraiser for the animal shelter going on right now. So we sign up 3v3 teams. It's just students who can play, and they can come in during lunch and play their games, and then we do a bracket after pod play, and the winner will play in our spring sports assembly. So that's exciting, and that's going on right now. State debate happened this last weekend, and we had 3 state champions. So we had Electra Fleischman, Clayton Brown, and Rye Wilson all took titles up there, so we're very proud of them. We also, a few months ago, we had our talent show assembling on. It was pretty successful. I think we had 8 people do it, including myself. It was a good time. It was successful. It was well attended, so that was good. And then lastly, we are preparing for post-spring break testing with SATs and ISETs. We have after-school tutoring on Thursdays, I believe, and AP and SAT prep club going on at lunch. And sorry, one more thing. On Thursday, we have ISU academic signing, and I believe we're signing at least 80 kids. So you're welcome to attend if that is something you're interested in.
Great.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you, Ben.
Of course.
Thank you.
Do we have someone here from Highland High School?
Okay, I thought.
This is Bree Lynn.
Yeah, I know. Never a new face, huh? It's always me. 3 years in a row.
We love
That's
seeing you.
awesome. That shows incredible dedication.
We've had a lot going on this spring. It's been really exciting at Highland. Highland Debate took second at state in the large schools division, which they've been in the either first or second for like the past 4 years in a row. So we're really proud of them. And then the Highland Family Career and Community Leaders of America state competition was in Boise this last week, and we had 5 students who placed in the gold, silver, and bronze categories. So we're really proud of them. Highland, Pokey, and Century PV Tech students all went to the State Skills USA competition in Boise together, and as a group, they swept the podium with first, second, and third places in all the events. Highland Cheer swept at state and won JAMS Nationals, so we're really proud of them. It's been, I think, 17 years running, so we're really proud of them. Highland Drama just finished their performance of Between the Lines, and it was an awesome show, and they're gearing up for their next show, the last show of the year, which is Disney's Descendants the Musical, and everyone's really excited about that one. Highland seniors participated in the Idaho State University's Academic Signing Day last Friday. We're really thankful to Idaho State University for putting on this great event. Highland students have earned over $3.5 million in scholarship money to Idaho State University, so that's really exciting to be going to a local university, so many students. And finally, this week is Make-A-Wish Week. Highland partners every year with Idaho Make-A-Wish with the goal to raise $10,000 to sponsor a specific local child. This year we're sponsoring Lily, and she's 3, and for her 4th birthday, she wants to go to Disney World. So we are sending her there, and our Make-A-Wish Assembly is this Thursday, which is our finals of Highland Idol. We had our semifinals last night, and Lily and her family attended, and she had a great time. She danced to every contestant and sang along, so it was really great. And then we'll present Lily with her check on Thursday, and we love being able to help with Make-A-Wish every year. Every year we're usually among the top donors for Make-A-Wish Idaho, and we love being able to work with them. And that's all I have for you today.
Wow. Well, thank you. Next up, Pocatello High School.
Hello, just gotta pull up my notes app. All right, got some exciting news for what Pokey's been up to. Recently, there was the state girls basketball competition, and Pokey is back-to-back state champions. We're so proud of them. The debate team swept districts a few weeks ago, being district champions in both speech and debate. And furthermore, they are state debate champions for our category, I think. Category, yeah. And hopefully they'll repeat this success at state speech in a few weeks. Pokey sent multiple wrestlers to stay with, I'm going to say this wrong, I'm so sorry. Api Tabake, I'm pretty sure, becoming state champion for his weight class. Caden Bunderson took third, and Gabriel Archuleta took fourth in their respective weight classes. Pocatello High School's annual day of service is coming up, and I can tell you that the students of Pocatello High School are excited to serve the local community. Pocatello High School's Act 1 recently finished up their Anastasia the musical. It was really good. I went. It was very awesome. And they are holding their auditions for the melodrama this week. Yeah, that's all I've got for you guys.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the Communications and Community Relations Report from Courtney Fisher.
Okay, included in your packet this evening is the media report for the last 28 days for communications and community relations. So the past month for my department has been about growing reach, building trust, and turning engagement into enrollment with our kindergarten enrollment campaign. So on pages 2 through 4, I wanted to show you how we're reaching and growing our audience. Our social media continues to be a great tool for our communications department. We had 108,000 views and 465 interactions in the past month, and Facebook remains our most active platform. Our live streams are maintaining steady viewership with, just steady as usual with our board meetings mostly, and our video strategy is working. We reached 838 new viewers. That's a 35% increase, and with a 72% of those are a new audience. So we like to track those numbers. So we're not just maintaining communication, we're actively working on expanding our reach and bringing new families into the conversation. So what's resonating? Well, our messages are landing with our top performing posts focused on kindergarten enrollment on page 3, and also district excellence and outcomes. Those top posts have really strong engagement and really meaningful interactions. So our community is responding to clear value messaging why School District 25 is a strong choice. On page 6, I wanted to report some early indicators that the kindergarten campaign is moving along really strongly. We had 67 total leads, and this was as of last Wednesday, so I know that number has increased. That's compared to 0 this time last year. Tara has been actively contacting those families who have reached out through that digital advertising campaign, and 19 of those have been confirmed contacts, and 17 have been qualified leads. So those other 2 are likely, their child wasn't going to be 5 by kindergarten, so 17 of those met all of that criteria that would enable them to enroll. We're just getting started with this campaign. Registration opens on Friday. We've got some teacher-authored op-eds coming out. The first one published on Saturday. We've got another one from me publishing this Saturday, and another one from a kindergarten teacher, Ms. Sharon Gunter, will publish on March 28th. So I've already sent that off so that we've got that all ready to go while we're on spring break. Just because we're on break doesn't mean the campaign goes on break, so it will still be active. So that's just a really strong indicator that campaign is in really good hands. I also wanted to share, I included on page 7 some family testimonials that we've been collecting. We've been using this with the kindergarten enrollment campaign, and I wanted to share. They're so fabulous. We have started integrating these into every school's website so that we have those testimonials. These testimonials reinforce our enrollment and retention strategy. They're not just messages, they're experiences that our family are reflecting back to us, so I think that's really important. And that's just there's so many more than I was able to even include. And I put a link to the document, I think, that has all of those testimonials that you are welcome to go look at. And then on page 8, I wanted to share information about how we're preparing ahead for new digital accessibility requirements. These are federal digital accessibility updates, and they focus on future content. We don't have to retroactively fix content that has already been published, so that's really important to understand. Our district is already in really strong positioning. We have a 98 accessibility score on our website. So we've already done a lot of the work. We just have to move it a little bit further with some other things like school newsletters and that. So we're just trying to move toward consistent district-wide practices. And it's a proactive approach. So just positioning so that we're not just meeting that requirement, but we're actually improving access for our families, which is really important to my department. We're also building other momentum across initiatives, so I just want to briefly touch on the attendance campaign. I've put that graphic in there for you for March, Springing Forward. We also have our scholarship program. We had so many kids that were still interested that didn't have their letters of recommendation, and we never want to prohibit opportunity, and so we actually extended the deadline for those, so that deadline was Monday. So I believe in your packet it says 47 complete applications, but we're up to 75, so that's really important. And we will be announcing those winners the week of April 6th. And then we're also getting ready through the Ed Foundation for our Idaho Gives campaign, and that will focus on participation, partnerships, and matching funds so that we can continue to deliver what we're doing with our classroom innovation grants and such.
I don't know if you noticed, but in your attachment, you skipped the America's Learning Through the Eyes of Our Learners flyer.
So I did.
Okay,
Because
sorry.
I postponed the meeting for that, so I
Okay.
don't really have an update for you
Okay.
on that, so I didn't include it in my oral report, but I'm certainly able to ask questions. Right now, I'm trying to gather who's participating, what space do we need. Right now, we've got Pokey. I just need to see if the submissions match the venue, and then move forward. So I postponed our first meeting until April 6th, so that I have a little bit. I didn't want to get the committee together with the preliminary information that I had, because I want to make sure that I'm protecting everybody's time that's going to participate in that endeavor. So expect an update after that. Any other questions?
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
that concludes my report. Thank you.
Next up, we have public written comment. Of course, we had a lot of written comments here. I hope everybody had a chance to read them. We do have two people who requested to speak in person. First of all, we'll recognize Marianne McGrory.
I don't want to be too loud. Members of the school board, oh, that's loud. Thank you for your continued service and commitment to our students, staff, and community. I appreciate the time and effort each of you dedicates to making thoughtful decisions under often challenging circumstances. I speak today as a representative of the PEA to respectfully urge the board to remain consistent in following its own established policies and Robert's rules. These policies exist to ensure transparency, fairness, and trust in the decision-making process. When they are applied consistently, they provide a clear framework that benefits both the district and the community it serves. I also want to acknowledge the financial challenges facing our district. Budget constraints require difficult choices, and I recognize the complexity of balancing limited resources while striving to meet the needs of all staff and students. However, it is during these times that adherence to policy becomes even more critical, as it helps guide decisions in a way that is equitable and accountable. At the last work session, a member of the audience was allowed to walk up and spend 37 minutes and 6 seconds to discuss a whole new program to be potentially added to the school district. In that same meeting, the policy of significant new information to review past votes was disregarded once again in reference to the Irving Middle School track. Quote, a couple people telling you that they've had input from the community and that they want to revisit the issue, end quote, is not significant new information. Where is the documentation for these claims? What is the email that Trustee Deanna Judy mentioned at the work session, and what did it discuss? Who was it to? Why isn't it in the record? Why are we talking yet again about tracks? This leads me to ask, what are y'all doing? We are looking at a situation where we have to lose positions for next year to meet the limitations created by the state budget. We already have 2 new programs that need support and time to develop. PV Tech and the online high school have only just been added in the last few years, and we just saw the wonderful students from PV Tech tonight. Why would there even be a consideration of adding any new programs that would take FTEs and budgets away from our already stretched schools? This is not the time. We have staff members worried for their jobs for next year. Now, I'm not anything special, and I can only speak for myself, but next year I will return to the classroom full-time. I will teach geography to the entire 7th and 8th grade students at Alameda. That is 400 students in one school year. And I was just informed that because our 6th grade is large, I may have to teach 6th grade world history as well. And some of y'all know how I feel about that. That would be over 425 students by one teacher in 1 year. I will be lucky if my class sizes are 28 students and not more. And I am no way unique in this situation. I, as the PEA president, have come to you numerous times this year to discuss the morale and state of our staff. Nothing has been done to address those concerns. We asked that the extra non-contact day in November be given to the staff as an optional workday. That did not happen. We asked that school staff and students see our board members in their buildings watching the phenomenal things that we are doing, yet we have seen no board member at Alameda in years. We have requested a committee to be organized to look at calendar options, and I volunteered to be part of that committee. Have not heard anything. We asked a committee to be organized to look at returning to semesters instead of trimesters. Again, I volunteered to be part of it. Again, nothing. But at the work session, you were willing to create a committee to look at including or adding JROTC at a time when we are losing staff members. Please take some time to review your own policies, reorganize your priorities as a board, and address the situations that we are facing for the rest of this school year and for the next. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Travis Bell.
Board of Trustees and Superintendent Howe, thanks for allowing me to take a couple minutes. I wrote one of the longest letters I've written in a long time. There's things that still pop up that I'd like to touch on about the Irving Middle School track. 6+ years ago, I got to be part of an athletic facility. I don't know that any of you got to be on that with me. And the talk, we had some money already set aside for middle school tracks. We had turf coming into the scene, and we said, what would be the biggest bang for our buck, for our learners? Even then, I have to say I didn't agree with 3 turf fields. I wanted the 1 school district field at Highland and still utilize Holt Arena, but we went this direction, and it's been amazing. It's been the 10 to 12 months, like I said, it's used. In the fall, it's used from 7 in the morning every weekday until 10 o'clock at night by band members, cheerleaders, football, 3 football teams, soccer teams. Soccer teams are able to stay in school now and go and participate under the lights at a 6 o'clock game instead of a 4 o'clock game. those fields have been a huge, huge benefit. The lights, the stadiums, the tracks, Highlands track was unusable for I don't know how long, but we were able to build a base and do all those things that cost lots of money. Still at that point, I worried about how do we maintain this. Those turf fields are gonna come up in 10 years, tracks. I know Century's track is up for this next year to be redone. Highlands isn't far behind. Along with all of this come lots of maintenance and costs, including athletic directors, as I said in there, sweeping the fields on Saturdays or Sundays. This has been a blessing, and we thank you. I can't tell you enough how excited Highland High School is for December to be able to move into that fantastic, outstanding building. It's something that you have done right and will be great for our learners. But again, I wonder, with those extra square feet of maintenance, how is all this going to continue to be maintained? As Mary Ann talked about money and learners in school, yes, we're student athletes first, but I, as a vice principal and athletic director, that's where my heart is. And there's a lot to be learned there with those individuals outside of the classroom. I can think about many different things that we need. We need tennis courts. Highland High School tennis courts have not been able to be used for 4+ years, and thank goodness Pocatello is going to step in and help us. Thank goodness that the city of Chubbuck has stepped in and allowed us to use Osborne tennis courts that have lights and 8 tennis courts. Pokey still is short tennis courts. Century is still short tennis courts. We own 2 softball fields out at Century High School and utilize 2 softball fields for Pokey from the city of Pocatello and 2 softball fields from the city of Chubbuck. So we are blessed with our community and those individuals that help us that way. But there are so many different needs, and like I said earlier, a big negative for me is our soccer team was going to get to utilize Alameda and Franklin. Many years we have 3 soccer teams, the last 2 we haven't, but we have freshman soccer that could be a team every year, and we choose not to have that team because of one of the reasons is lack of space. So with you allowing the Franklin track to come in and our amazing middle school athletic directors and admin figuring out a way to make that work, it's been a blessing, and it will take less time away from the high schools utilizing the track. But I will tell you, the Irving field with the lights has been very beneficial. That's where we went when Franklin wasn't available. We have coaches off campus that can't start coaching till 5, and the lights, once again, are invaluable at Irving. If there's another place you can build a soccer field or track, but I really think with it, like I mentioned in my letter, ultimately there's 20 to 24 days that our middle school learners utilize that track for practice. And those lights get used way more than that for band, soccer, football even. And there are even games that will still be played there. And with that addition, like I said, if we go back to keeping our freshman boys and girls soccer team, they're going to need a place to play because those games are at 6 o'clock now, and teams aren't going to travel in at 4 o'clock for games that are for their JV and varsity at 6. So I just, if you have any concerns, please reach out to me, but I just feel like the biggest bang for our buck, like we talked about years ago for our learners, and it'll benefit more learners to keep those lights and keep a 3-lane track at Irving Middle School. And I'm going to have to run. I'm supposed to be at other meetings, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I trust that everyone had a chance to look at the minutes. If there is no discussion, the chair is ready to accept the motion to approve the February minutes as presented.
Is there a motion to, no, you ask.
Yeah.
So I move that we,
Yeah.
do we need to, okay.
Yeah,
I
is there a
move that
motion?
we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, is there a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded that we approve the February minutes as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item on the is the consent agenda, starting out with the payment of claims, the board bills. I trust we've all had a chance to see that. Also, the supplemental financial data, the human resource activity, the out-of-state overnight travel requests, and the camp requests. Does anyone wish to have any discussion or comment regarding those? Megan?
On the, I don't know who we ask on this one, but on the out-of-district state overnight travel request, they say that they have 2 requests, they're on the same date. They want to know which one we will approve, and so I assume that we have to specify that when we vote, right?
I think on the spreadsheet, it said their preference. If you're okay with them taking that trip, then I would just say with the preference of that high school. If you're not okay with them taking that trip, then it would be no, the alternate to Boise, I believe.
I don't remember which one they wanted, whether they wanted Boise or Logan.
They wanted to go to Logan and take
Yes.
70 kids, but
Yes.
if they go to Boise, they can only take 25.
Correct.
I just wanted to know if we
They-
had to specify
No,
that.
they
in
would
our-
love to go to the Logan one,
Yes.
and it's not overnight.
But yes, if you would specify, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sid. Any other questions or comments? Then if not, the board's ready to accept a motion that we approve the items and the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board approve the following consent agenda items as presented, including the out-of-state travel request to Logan for the track team.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item on the agenda are the self-explanatory reports. We have reports from the Idaho General Fund Review, Capital Improvement Program projects, and Highland High School Rebuild Project, budget reports, food service free and reduced meal eligibility report, student enrollment report, student suspension report, and the 2025-2026 early graduation report. We were given presentations on this at our work session. I trust we've all had a chance to read them. Does anyone have any comments or discussion on any of these items? Okay. Therefore, we will go ahead and move ahead to the next item. Next item is public hearing on proposed 2025-2026 budget adjustments by Mr. Jonathan Balls.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for your time this evening. Before you is our action item to approve the budget amendment for the 25-26 school year. As we discussed in our work session last week, I'll quickly go over some of these documents. But first, I wanted to explain the why. Why do we do this? When there's a material change in the budget, we have the board and the school district and even our community has been accustomed to some of these budget adjustment, budget hearings. Again, it helps us all kind of get for transparency to see where our budget's at, see where our actual numbers are from the fall, but also prepare us for the next year's budget as well. So again, the first document is we'll quickly go through those. Please let me know if you have any questions. This is the document that appeared the last 2 Fridays in the Idaho State Journal, just summarizing the differences to the adopted budget that was adopted last June and to the proposed adjustments for the general fund and all other funds. The next one that has the yellow highlighting again shows all of our individual funds with the original budget, with the adjustment, and the amendment. Again, I wanted to highlight the Fund 410, our capital construction projects for Highland High School rebuild. Again, this was just a change in the accounting and budget procedure or process. Once we found out some reporting requirements that for our Fund 436, which is the school district modernization facilities monies that we receive from the state, it was necessary that we keep all of those expenses in that fund, and so we basically zeroed out that amount, and those are those large amounts that you find. Obviously, the Highland project is, as we'll report later in the meeting, is on target, on budget, and within the timeline there. So, but just wanted to highlight that large amount there. Again, with the peach and the beige, it just goes through, again, more details, dives into some of these adjustments as we look at the individual funds. A majority of the funds are just the adjustments to actual. Again, our fiscal end of year was 6/30, and yet we had to, set this budget almost 60 days prior. And so this is just the standard procedure that we do. On that second page, I wanted to highlight, again, our second largest fund, well, third now, after the modernization fund, is our school plant facilities fund. Again, that a lot of the project dollars come from this fund. That's coming from our taxpayers. Again, that we had an additional $3.3 million there in the actual beginning balance as of 7/1 that was budgeted. Now to look at more specifically, by far our largest fund is our general fund revenue. You'll see the different categories of revenue. Because of declining enrollment, you'll see the $1.3 million reduction of state revenue. This is softened or outsized, and we're very fortunate that interest rates have stayed up, and so that is lessened. That decrease is lessened a little bit because of revenue, and also just a slight increase to our beginning balance in the general fund. And so you see that net amount is around $700,000. Again, we use both sides. We use all of our necessary avenues to help balance the budget, not only on the revenue side, but also the expenditure side. As you look to see some of the fine-tuning of salaries and benefits, we did capture some of the savings that we've had due to this warm weather. And so that's some expenditures that are a little bit less, and that helps offset, as well as the math adoption that initially was budgeted this year, but that will happen next year, and that is as scheduled. It was me trying to be maybe a little proactive there, but again, this helps in this type of scenario to help balance that budget. Those last three items are our reconciling accounts. First, contingency reserve, which is 1% of revenues, so that's down slightly. Unappropriated fund balance is 4% of revenues, again, slightly down. And then the appropriated fund balance is the final account, or the balance, if you will, to help balance the budget. And again, it equals that $706,000 that we were down on the revenue side. So very quickly, again, we went over it in length last week, but wanted to kind of give that presentation to you. And now it's, Mr. Chair, I believe you're for action, or unless there's any questions ahead of time.
Okay, I hereby recess the regular board meeting and will convene the public hearing to solicit input on the 2025-2026 proposed budget amendments. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Since there are no questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing and reconvene the regular meeting. Next on the agenda would be the consider adopting the 2025-2026 budget amendment action. Is there a motion?
I hereby move that the board adopt the 2025-2026 budget adjustments as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded that we approve the 2025-2026 budget adjustments as just presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Jonathan. Next on the agenda is the curriculum, instruction, technology, school safety, and athletics. We have information there on the academic and student achievement high school online program update. And we have presenters here. Okay.
Good evening, trustees. You get a group of us for this one. Covers multiple areas, so we'll kind of split this up and share the information. I will start with the IRI data comparison. I believe in your packet, it is a MIRA data comparison. You'll see a chart on there. Just as a reminder, you received a little background information on this earlier in the year at a work session, a board meeting. But AMIRA is the new state platform that administers the IRI. And we're required by the state to take a fall and a spring IRI assessment. We choose as a district to use AMIRA. It has a couple of programs along with it, as well as additional assessments throughout the year to monitor progress. And we wanted to share some of those results with you and also a comparison to the state. So just a quick snapshot as you're looking at that data and information. You can see starting in kindergarten, obviously there's a fair amount of growth from October. October was the fall assessment window, and January was what we call our winter benchmark. And as it continues moving up through the grades, you'll notice that the amount of proficiency gets smaller and smaller, the amount of growth, which is notable just in the fact that a lot of those readers become proficient, and as they reach that stage, they don't show as much growth. It's also nice to look at where the state's at. Just as a reminder with this, the state does not require the winter benchmark or the January assessment period, so not everyone in the state is included in this data. We'll see that comparison in May. But you can see as you're looking at the percentages, and this is just for proficiency, as you're looking at those percentages, we're very similar to where the state is at. This is a new baseline for us, so all of our data that we've looked at in the past really doesn't have, really can't be used for comparison purposes because it is a new assessment with the IRI this year. So we're setting a new baseline, looking at the data, and we'll analyze it and make decisions moving forward, and then we'll have a comparison point as we move into the next couple of years as well. And then I'll pass it along to Amy. She's going to talk a little bit about the longitudinal IRI and the history of the IRI.
AJ did a really good job. That was thorough, so I can be brief. Just a reminder, and I know we've talked about this before, that the assessment for our K-3 literacy has changed multiple times over the past several years. Pre-2018, 2019, we administered the legacy IRI, which was only assessing fluency. And then in 2018, 2019, we transitioned to iStations, ISIP, and it expanded the scope to include phonemic awareness, phonics, decoding, spelling, vocabulary, and comprehension, and no fluency. So think about that for a second. It went from assessing only fluency to no fluency. And then our current school year, we're implementing AMIRA's ISIP, which differs substantially from iStation, and AJ did a good job explaining that. It's a productive language assessment where the students are speaking into their computers, and it's assessing foundational skills, but it's also added fluency back in. In addition, it also measures their fluency. There's some things I feel like I say over and over and over. And the thing I'm about to say, I say over and over and over. I think I need to make a T-shirt is like Bowie's top 10. And one of my top 10 will be, and I say it to stakeholders, teachers, parents, principals, board members, street data matters. So Michael McDowell talks about satellite data, which is proficiency data, which AJ just shared. And proficiency data matters, for sure it does. We absolutely want every learner to be proficient in K-3 reading. That's our goal. We absolutely want that. In addition to that, what AMIRA offers us is some street data, some actionable growth data, and some very specific skill set data for the teacher to look at individual learners and where their gaps and weaknesses are, and it can inform their instruction. So as you're looking at satellite data, as Michael McDowell would say, also remember that the actionable data for us is more granular, and Kimberly Thompson is a couple of our board members met Kimberly today. Raina Patterson, also our federal programs director, and Kimberly Thompson, who's our instructional consultant for elementary ELA. They have done a great job under Cassie Atwood's supervision of learning everything as there is to learn about what AMIRA can offer us in terms of reports, and we're just now starting to have professional development where teachers are learning what these reports can do for their instruction. So we're really excited about that. That's all I would add.
Thank you. Yes.
So these numbers look really good on January 2026. I know it's a different test, but can you tell me what the last year's was in January? Or do you, sorry, you don't, if you don't have it, that's okay.
I don't have the
But
ex-
I thought it was lower.
I don't have the exact numbers. Actually, in January of last year, they were similar, but they were higher in most grades. The iStation, ISIP scores typically were showing more growth, especially in our upper grades. But if I remember correctly, looking at most of them, except maybe fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade might be the exception to that, that they were in the higher 60s at our lower grades. And that's why with this baseline, we're using it. We need to make sure we understand that where we're at with the new assessment, because teachers do also set, some of the K2 teachers set their goals based on this information for the state. And so they were setting goals on a new assessment that they didn't know much about. So we've talked to them about that, but they were a little bit higher. But like we said, measuring oral fluency, some other things that were not measured before. So nice to make a comparison to the state as well, so we can see where we're at in alignment with the state.
Okay. I guess that was my mistake. I was remembering it wrong. I was thinking these numbers were better, but that 75% number looks really great.
And it is higher in the fourth and fifth grade, if I remember exactly, but we can get
And our
those
kindergarten
specific numbers.
if I remember right. Our kindergarten numbers were really high. We were really excited about kindergarten. But again, AJ did a great job explaining.
Thank you.
Yeah, also attached in your packet, you have some advanced opportunities reports. You have all of last year for 24-25, and you can see we had 2,219 students take advantage of advanced opportunities last year, whether through exams or dual credit classes or overload classes or workforce training. The 25-26 is just the summer and fall submission. We have winter and spring submissions to go, and that's when the majority of the exams come in, and also second semester classes. So we'll get you another look at this in July when we finish up this year. Can you explain, what's an overload course? So if you're taking, at high school, you have 5 classes.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to take a 6th class, like in IDLA, and take a 6th class to move ahead faster, that would be an overload class.
I see.
And AO funds can pay for that. Even in middle school?
Even middle school, yep.
That's interesting.
Yep, if they're taking a
Is that
full,
new?
full load, nope. If they're taking a full load, they can take overload classes, or in the summer, if they want to take classes in the summer to move ahead faster. Yep. Okay. And then you have our beginning data of our high school online program. Again, this is just for blocks 1, 2, and 3. Block 4 finished on March 6th, but they have a couple of weeks to adjust grades, and we have kids that are finishing up stuff, so we weren't comfortable pulling block 4 for you. As you can see, the pass rate currently for overall is 67%. It started, first block was only 61%, and then it rose to 65, and now we're at 71. Again, a lot of these students were students that were having trouble in brick and mortar schools, and so they're trying online. Kids that are being successful are continuing on. Kids that are struggling online, we're working on getting them back into brick and mortar, and so it's kind of a give and take. Each block we have kids going on and off online. So it's working very well. We're encouraged by the data, so.
So I understand grades A through F.
Yep, okay.
IP
and U. So some of those classes are pass or
Okay.
unsatisfactory. And then.
Unsatisfactory, that's what the
That
U
would
is?
be, yeah, that's a U. And then I is incomplete, so if a student hasn't quite finished it yet, we, depending on what the reason is, we give them some time to finish that.
And so then on the enrollment, would those, the first block 55, are they include, so they're, for the most part, would be block 1, they're the same kids in block 2?
Yes, mostly for block 1 and 2, and then block 3 and 4.
Okay.
And then block 5 and 6. But if kids are struggling in block 1, they were brought into the building, and they could continue their online classes, but they had to do it in the building with an adult there to help.
I see.
And then by the time block 2 got done, if we had kids that were still struggling, they were the online program was no longer available to them. They needed to come back into brick and mortar so we can get them some help.
Final question.
Sure, you bet.
I mean, I noticed you also didn't split this out by high school. I mean, is it, we're just wanting to look at an overall, I mean, I guess,
Currently, overall, we
because it's
did.
the same curriculum,
Mhm,
right?
It's the same curriculum.
Okay.
We did some breakout of high schools, and they were very close. We also did some breakouts in classes, and some classes work much better online than other. And so we're, for unit development this summer, they're actually coming in and reworking some of those classes. Some we've discovered have entirely too much stuff in them, and some are not quite robust enough. And so they're going to be working on refining those classes this
And
summer.
then I guess another question is, are they evenly split between the three high schools? as
They
far as
actually
enrollment?
are.
They are,
They
okay.
are, yeah. I mean, within 3 or 4?
Within 3 or 4
That's
across
great.
all 3 buildings.
Yeah.
And Ray,
Yes.
is everyone that wants to participate in this able to, or have you had to turn?
So the only thing we're working on, if we have special education students, if we have too many, the high schools can limit the number based on the percent in their school. So if they have, I'm going to make up a number, 10% out of 1,500 are special ed kids, then online, we try to keep it no more than 10% online also, so that it doesn't get overwhelmed. But currently, anybody who would like to be online in our district has been able to get online.
Oh,
Great.
cool.
So we aren't full yet. So
That's great.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Yes, thank you so very
you're
much.
welcome.
Congratulations.
No, thank you. Sounds like a great
Successful.
start.
Next on the agenda, we have the Head Start 2026-2027 continuation grant waivers and budget amendment.
Included in your packet is the 2026-2027 Head Start Continuation Grant Application, the 2026-2027 Transportation Waiver Request, along with the 2025-2026 Budget Amendment and the 2025-2026 Non-Federal Share Waiver Request. All this information was shared with you at the March 10th Board Work Session, and tonight it is up for action to approve the grant, waiver requests, and budget amendment.
Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding these proposals? If not, then the chair is ready to receive a motion that we approve them.
I hereby move that the board approve the following Head Start requests as presented: the 2026-27 Head Start Continuation Grant Application, the 2026-27 Transportation Bus Monitor Waiver Request, the 2025-26 Head Start Budget Amendment, and the 2025-26 Non-Federal Share Waiver Request.
Is there a second for this motion?
A second?
Okay, we have a first and a second for the motion that we approve the following Head Start requests as just presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Next up, we have the use of district football equipment for summer camps.
So per HSAA guidelines, we have to present to you in front of the board dates and times that we will be using our football helmets and pads. And so you have in front of you Century High School, Highland High School, and Pocatello High School's projected dates to have football camp.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments regarding this? Okay, then I'm ready to accept a motion to pass this.
I move that we pass the request to use the football equipment for summer camps.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you. Do we have a presentation? Okay, we don't have human resources. And so Jonathan is up for business operations, budget, maintenance, transportation, and food service.
Okay. I believe the first item up is the Highland High School rebuild update. Again, as I mention every time, we are on time. We have been blessed with the good weather that has helped us going. I will say the wind actually has slowed us down a little bit as we're getting high up into those roofs, and those roofers don't like wind, and so, but I think that has passed, and so it was a good it was good to be on time for sure. We're also within budget, and so that is good. And we're excited for that as well. I just wanted to comment just briefly as you that comment that Travis Bell mentioned about December. Again, as a reminder, we've told our public that it will be January of 27, and but again, our goal is January 4th, so the very first. So when the kids, learners, staff come back, they would be able to occupy these spaces, the classrooms, the gymnasium, the weight room, the kitchen commons area, and so forth. But as you know, to get that ready, we have to do a lot of work in December. And that's what Mr. Bell was referencing. Obviously, we'll be looking at getting that certificate of occupancy, and so we can have that all ready. So it'll be a very busy December, but that's what we're gearing up for. That's what we're planning for equipment, for furniture, and just to have it all ready there, okay? So I wanted to kind of focus a little bit on kind of the remaining phases. I guess I wanted to report that on Thursday we're having, as we do every bid, we have a bid walkthrough, and this is for the Highland West parking lot and the Highland tennis courts. So we get kind of a first look at a lot of our bids. Have a mandatory walkthrough with a sign-in sheet, so we know which contractors, which vendors are interested in bidding that. And so that's our kind of our first glimpse of who will bid on that. And then the bids are due April 2nd. And so look for that to come before you in April. Again, that's with the tennis courts and the west parking lot. The interior, the vestibule, will actually be a change order with Bateman Hall. And so we felt they were there, it was inside the building, it was within their scope, and a lot of the same vendors and contractors that they're working with, and so that was the easiest way to do that one. And you've seen drawings of those, we're excited for that. Inside your packet is a memo talking that we need to start the process for the following summer. Summer of 27, phase 4, phase 3B, or summer 2027 edition. And so again, these were some of my thoughts, our thoughts, Dr. Hal and I, and our team of, and listing, just for reference, some possible elements that we would consider for that last summer. Again, the goal would be that when we're starting school, August of 27, that building would be complete. That's our goal. We know that Bateman Hall is on track to release the music classrooms, so band, orchestra, choir, drama, and then as well as the auditorium there to us. In that it'll be July, it'll be early summer, so that we'll be ready for students and for learners and staff when they come back, but also these elements as well. And so that's kind of in a tentative timeline below that. Again, in here this spring, we identify some elements so that we can again give this to Design West. They've thrown in a couple things for us that we can use in our discussions, but then find or get that into some good coherent renderings that are detailed enough so that Bateman Hall can help provide a budget number for us. That will just kind of roll in, obviously with the board's input, through the SIP process. We can budget those dollars out of 420 or 436, and then come before you in a year from now that we would go out to bid for that amount there. I want, if it's okay with you, I'd like some feedback or recommend thoughts. Whether we involve the Highland Rebuild Committee. Would you like to hear from their thoughts on some of these elements? And also when that would possibly, again, I threw out that week, either actually on April 6th or that week sometime, that if you would like that Highland Rebuild Committee to convene, we could get some of their feedback, and then we can come to the board in that work session in April, or a special meeting. Again, just depends on how you'd like to handle that. Again, to start that, and if it goes into May, that's fine too. Again, that's why we just want to start as early as possible. But, Mr. Chair, kind of some direction, if you will.
Yes, Megan.
On what you think.
Just a quick question. So we did that session with the Highland Committee.
We did.
Where we did, the Post-it notes up on the board.
did.
And then things were going to come back after things got, and I don't think we've ever done that. So is this kind of the follow-up with that?
Well, we realized that we really had to separate that into two different summers. So part of that, and I think it was, I can't remember which month, that you saw kind of the drawings of the tennis court and the parking lot. And we realized, when those were priority, right? I mean, we needed to get those ones done. This would be kind of taking those same elements, but then kind of narrowing that scope now that we've got the parking lot. That's a no-brainer. Tennis court, no-brainer. Get those out of the way. Kind of, these are the things that we need to, that are potentially could be very important, but want to make sure we get them prioritized.
I guess I was thinking when we had somewhat prioritized them that day, they were going to come out with some ideas or some renderings or.
Yes,
maybe
yes,
that too.
and that's, and I do have those on my,
You do?
yep. I have a proposed parent drop-off, and I've proposed, event parking, as well as kind of a little bit of what they thought on the building facade. So I do have those, again, just as clay to mold, nothing
sure.
set in stone at all. And then even added some more things that, maybe a little bit smaller in scope, but important. The relocation of that H or bell tower, that's important
Right.
to some people. So.
Now, my only final thing is, there would be a conflict on April 6th, because we have another.
Yes, I realize, okay. So, and we can look at our calendars, but if that week might be available.
6 for what?
April 6th, right?
Yeah, it's the America 250 meeting.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the what?
I realized that.
America 250.
Megan.
America
Okay.
250 planning
Um,
meeting got
Yes.
rescheduled.
In response to your question, I think it would be useful to reconvene the rebuild committee.
Okay.
All of those that want to come. I feel like we hear that we don't involve the community enough, and this would be a good way to
Absolutely.
get back with them, and here's where we're at, and then hear back from them, so that we're including their
Okay.
input as well.
And that's again, our recommendation. We would probably even, our thoughts are, again, depending on the, when we set a date, that we might offer a tour for this committee. I mean, they were so instrumental early on. Maybe, have a tour that they could come, and then this meeting could maybe be held in the library or media center of Highland.
That's a great idea.
Just a thought.
Although it looks long.
Yes, Deanna.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, as far as the parent drop-off, that's like really, 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 really old, like more than 30 years. I don't even know. And I'm just wondering why that's not just on, like with this other asphalt maintenance. We've got Syringa, Green Acres, all the others. It just kind of rotates through the replacement schedule.
So-
And also, the other thing would be the interior painting. I would
Absolutely.
assume that the parent drop-off and the interior painting would really just be replacement things and on that rotation. I understand the bus parking is a different idea.
It is.
Different option. But then also, those were the two things that seemed a little bit out of place. It seemed like it
Okay. If I could,
really, yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it.
So the interior, the parent drop-off is very, I was going to say radical, but it's not, but it's very different. It's big enough that I do want some feedback on that. Is it going to be used? Because it definitely would transform the west side, that front side, and they're even having it wrap around the north side, to go off onto Fairway to alleviate some of that bench road traffic. So it's fairly significant. So that's why it wouldn't be, at least what they've shown us. And again, that's the feedback, right? That's the clay that we want to mold. Okay, do we want this? Do we want to get a pricing on this, or will it be used? what's the feedback from the committee, what's the, obviously from the board,
So
what would be used. And then you're
Okay,
absolutely
I
right
see.
with
Go ahead.
interior painting, absolutely. That's on the schedule, that's replacement. I put it on there just so they know that we're gonna do everything we can to get that, school as new as possible for August of '27.
I see.
Because that
Okay.
definitely is replacement, you're absolutely
Okay,
right.
and I guess also, I guess you weren't concluding on the update existing building facade. You weren't including like all the chipping paint all the way around the school, right?
We were gonna try to go all the way around the school.
But is that, again, it seems like that would be a replacement schedule item. I just don't want it all lumped into, oh, this is how much it costs to
Oh,
do
I
these
understand.
new
Sure,
things,
sure.
when these really aren't new things. They're just replacement schedule items that all schools have. So I was just wondering, like, which ones of these things are really replacement and which ones are actually
Sure, and I
additions?
definitely see what your point is, and you're right. Parent drop-off, the bus or event parking, those would definitely be the major projects. You'll see that the building facade does, again, it's because as you're standing on bench, you definitely see a new skyline, at the top there, and it just tries to match some of those colors a little bit, so it's a little bit more than just fixing some scraped paint. But obviously, I'm hoping the cost is not that major.
But we're not including maintenance items into this.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Those, we really, if you've been in that large parking lot to the south, we really want to, there's so many different wires, there's different compressors, different pieces of equipment on that south side. Really
The
kind of,
entrance?
yeah, exactly.
Beautiful auditorium entrance?
Yeah, the old ones. But we really want to just kind of clean that up. That would probably be the major part, just so, again, in that south parking lot, you see the new addition on the east side, but then the existing building on that south would also have a cleaned up look.
I see. And one other question.
Please.
And so are you talking about our board, Highland Rebuild Original Board Committee?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Yep, that's the same one, because, I mean, these are the staff, these are parents that, use that parking lot.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
and I
they
guess
know,
if
they've been to events,
Right.
yeah.
And I guess if Highland Administration or District want to change out their people, that's fine, but I mean, just the makeup of the committee that we had already, I
Yeah.
guess, voted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I know that April 6th might be a conflict.
So what was the other conflict?
April 6th for that, and I think
Well,
yeah.
no, but what was the other?
That was
thing?
the
I think that was a
Celebration
4 to
250
6 meeting, wasn't it?
Right, it's at 3:30.
3:30, yeah. So it's almost the exact same.
what was the conflict? I know that part, but what was?
Well, I just had thrown out, okay, April 6th for this committee meeting, but there's some of you that are on both, and I don't want to, would a Tuesday or a Wednesday, be any better, or Ms. Johnson can ask for your schedules?
Yeah.
We'll make anything happen. But it seems like that's the week before work session, and see if that's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, if that works, then can we do that via email?
Yeah, I think that would be.
And that would just be, I
Would
guess,
that be
the people
appropriate?
that are on the Highland Rebuild Committee? I'm
Correct.
sure that
Yeah,
works
so it'd
for-
be you and, you
Okay.
and Ms. Clark, yeah.
Okay,
So.
that works for me.
Okay, well, then the next item would be the bid awards.
Okay. We have in front of you several bids, and so we'll go through them. Please, if you have any questions, please let me know. So again, the first one, we try to put them in alphabetical order here. Asphalt maintenance, we had 8 vendors invited to bid. We received from 4, and you'll see the low bid there for Imperial Asphalt. This is a new vendor for us, and so.
Jonathan, if you could wait a second here.
Oh, please.
So you're doing them alphabetically, but our list is not alphabetical, is it, or?
Oh.
Okay.
Because I'm searching for the asphalt.
Okay.
Could you
Yes.
change the order so it's
I
in line with
will,
what we have?
I will. Let me quickly.
I have asphalt as the first one.
Do you?
I do.
It's like I thought I did.
And then I have school bus. Is that your
Yep,
order?
school bus
Wait a second,
second.
maybe I scrolled too far.
It's a
I
very
did,
first.
that's
Oh.
my error, please
Okay.
excuse me.
No, you are
No,
just
it's okay.
fine.
It's okay.
You are just fine. I'm glad you had that.
I get
So-
a little flick of the thumb and.
Yes, yep, and
it's
it
okay.
goes. Yep, that's scrolling. That's a dangerous. So again, you'll see 3 projects, Syringa, Green Acres, and at our maintenance shop as well. You'll see kind of those bids, but the overall low bid was to Imperial Asphalt. And you can see there. I will mention as a whole, as you'll see this, we had some great participation. We had some great new vendors, and you'll see the overwhelming majority of these are under budget. And so we're very
I noticed
excited.
that. That's great.
Yes, we're
awesome.
very excited about that as well.
So,
yeah.
wait, I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I was thinking that Syringa just had a new parking lot and Green Acres just had a new parking lot.
Okay, so
Is that
Syringa
a
is the
different
other side.
The other side, oh.
Because with Boys and Girls Club and with food service there is the other side.
Oh, they wanted to extend it?
No, it's just,
Okay.
we had to have access into the school and into the yard. So they did, I'm trying to get my directions. Well, they did the large parking lot last
Oh,
year.
it's the second parking, no, it's the smaller parking lot?
Yes, correct. That's
Okay.
the second one. Now, Green Acres, they did do, so we did some patching, but we realized really the base wasn't quite there. So this is basically to finish that. If you go over there, there's definitely some issues there that basically we just didn't have time to fix and repair properly before the start of school.
Oh, okay, because there was that team effort with the city.
That is.
City and the.
Correct. And so a lot of that with the city was more on the street side and the sidewalk side.
I see.
And we were responsible for our sidewalk down to the street. And then we got into the parking lot and realized there's really more here. So we tried to patch it just to get it through one more year. But we thought this was good just so then it's all the way done there at Green
I
Acres.
see, okay.
Excellent question. And you can see that Imperial is about 88,000 to the low bid from the next highest one there. So again, there's a good portion of our savings was because of that extremely low bid. Second one is, again, a school bus. As a reminder, last month, it seems like last year, but last month we did for 5 and the numbers came back pretty good and really good. And so we really needed that 6th bus. And so we went out to bid. Again, it's the same vendor that received it previously. It is slightly higher, about $1,700 higher. But again, you see the bids there. We'd like to award that to Rush Truck Center. In the board action, you'll see that, again, with the 5 from last month, this 1 month that we're still $131,260 below our estimated budget there for school buses.
Great.
The next one is some carpet and some cove base. Again, we asked 3 vendors to quote, and we had one coming back, and that was wall to wall. Again, project 1 is Indian Hills, which will be the halls and the media center, and then the classrooms are scheduled for next year. At Century, there's some of the original carpet that's still there, and so there's these various classrooms as well. And then here at the Ed Center, it's actually down in transportation as all of the bus drivers come in and out of that parking lot. It's just some walk-off carpet there. Again, this is about $5,000 below the estimated amount, but again, our motion is to award this to wall to wall. The second one is a chiller. This is this is at Hawthorne Middle School. We had 10 vendors, and we received bids for 2. Again, that it was a Mechanical Solutions that was low bid by about $86,857, which again put us $78,560 underneath our budget for this category. Again, the motion there to award the chiller bid to Mechanical Solutions. We've realized that we have a couple entry doors that need to be replaced. This is everything from the frames, from the hardware. They're just kind of rotting out at the base and just need to kind of be replaced. Again, there's specific doors you can see from a lot of our middle schools and high schools there, Alameda, Hawthorne, Irving, Century, and Pocatello. And so you can see those 11 vendors were invited to quote. We received quotes for 2 of them. And you can see that Sierra Clark Construction out of Shelley was the low bid by a little over $49,000. This one, being fairly new, we did miss this one. It cost a little bit more. It was about 26,000 and a half over our estimated budget for these entry doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of
Please.
course.
Sorry.
On these entryway doors, are they all ADA, or do you know if any of them include that?
So I know the one at Century is the main storefront door, so that would be ADA. But to my knowledge, these are just replacing kind of the regular doors.
Maybe just on other parts of the building?
The ADA would be at the other parts. For example, this one at Pocatello High School is just to the right of the main door, but the main entrance does have its ADA accessibility there. Those, to put a school into ADA is about 10 grand, and so we haven't brought that to you, but we normally, and we will continue to do two to three every year.
I guess one, right.
Yes, go ahead.
So I guess one point I guess I would make is that in all of these schools, you have to hit the doorbell to come in, and so that really is probably an option, right? If they have to hit the doorbell, somebody can come out and open that door because that doorbell is there, and they would be able to fill that need, right?
We only want one doorbell. We only want, that's how we make them secure, is the one main entrance. And so if these, and I'm not sure the other three schools, forgive me, and I can get with you and get back on there, but if these are the ADA access with the doorbell, then of course that ADA access will be put back in there.
Okay.
Okay. The next one, this next one was a big one. We, not knowing really what this was going to look, this is the fire alarm replacement at Pocatello High School. As you can see, it was an electric company. So this is essentially an electric job, and there's a lot of variety in electrical work, going through walls, and so forth. And that's where you'll see, this is where the majority of our budget savings come from. But again, we had 6 vendors invited to bid. We had 2 vendors come. One was unresponsive. He basically didn't complete the bid, and basically left out some things that we required. And so really it's just, we have one, Mountain Valley Electric. They are a very large electric firm, so we're very happy with that. I reported to the board that we thought this might be a 2-summer project. They are going to try to get it done in this first summer.
Wow.
And so, yes, we're very excited about that. Again, this will bring us up to code regarding fire alarms. So it's called voice evac. It stands for evacuation in each of the rooms. So rather than that bell, obnoxious bell, you're going to hear a voice say, please exit, and have that recorded message. You're also going to have detection in each classroom. Right now, it's just kind of only in the hallways, in the commons areas. And then at those rooms that have heated or gas appliances, there will be a CO detector placed in there. So this will bring up Pocatello High School up to code regarding fire alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And at a savings of what, 620,000?
Yeah, 620. And remember, that was a huge. That was a hard one to budget. That was a hard one to budget, just because of the way that the Pocatello High School was put together throughout the years, right? And so we just didn't know. But yes, we're happy that frees up some budget money there for future projects. The next one is HVAC system at Syringa. Again, these are some HVAC equipment that needs to be replaced. 4 vendors were invited to quote. 1 vendor came back in Mechanical Solutions. You can see the number there. That's about $13,500 under the estimated budget there. So, okay, this is the next one is kind of unique. Again, this is not on SIP, but we wanted to we needed to do a bid process and thought we needed to bring that to you. This is for internet access, so it's abbreviated IA, but this is where basically the district and all our schools get the internet. 30 vendors were invited to bid. We got bids back from from 4, and you can see those here. We asked them for a 3-year and a 5-year term there, and we felt, and legally we can use that 5-year term, and so it's our recommendation that we award that to Direct Communications out of Rockland to provide internet access. And now the great thing with that is it will actually even be subsidized by federal E-rate funding, and as well as the state of Idaho kicks back 10%. We send them our bills, they give us 10%.
So we end up paying 10%, or?
Correct, that is a correct
Wow.
statement. Yeah, it's.
That's great.
Yep, that's really good. Obviously, we're looking at that, the federal funding, but that one hasn't never been come up or touched there as well. Okay. The next one is a lighting replacement. As you remember, we tried to do one. We're starting with elementary schools, have started for several years, and now it's Indian Hill's turn. And it had 6 vendors invited to bid. 4 we received bids from, and you can see there that it was Industrial Electrical Service out of Blackfoot. They were the ones that did Wilcox last year and did a good job for us. And so again, you'll see that's about 157, 370 below the budget there. As a reminder, we will get about approximately 25% of this back from Idaho Power, as well as some energy savings. So in about 3 to 4 years, we'll save the amount that we pay for this.
Wow, this is great. And so this is a good vendor, and we got it at half the price we expected.
Correct, yeah.
But,
And
I
it's,
mean-
a lot of that's the size and how many lights and so forth like that. And so, but yes, you'll see it was, you see the range there, it would, and the interest really. But so, yeah, it is really good. We enjoy doing these, and that's the one. There's a handful of things that we can do to our elementary schools, and one is this lighting project. Okay, so now the second part, this is called Category 2 E-rate funding. It's basically a networking internal connection. So these are the servers, not the servers, the switches and the routers. This is basically as needed for the next 3 years that we lock in this pricing, and then when we do purchase this equipment, that we have this locked in pricing, and that this funding can come from E-rate. Again, same thing that we had 5 vendors, 3 vendors we received. 1 bid was unresponsive because they didn't bid what we wanted, and so you'll see the 2 there, Right Systems and CompuNet, both out of Meridian. And so a motion is there to award this to Right Systems. Again, it will be subsidized 80%. Okay. Okay, the next one is the restroom remodel at Irving Middle School. And so some of the details there. We've invited 7 vendors to bid. We received bids back for 3 of them. As a reminder, this is for the high privacy and not the total privacy. But you can see the price of $288,502. That is still below the amount that we put in there of $320,000. And so this is, as again, we've discussed bathrooms quite a bit, and this is another option. This saves us a little less than $50,000 than what it cost us for the total privacy. And so we're kind of anxious to see. So even though I say that, obviously the privacy is with the stalls, but there's plumbing, because we're getting rid of cast iron plumbing. And so it just depends on how easy it is to access. And so there's some variables in there, but it's still right around this amount.
So we toured Irving this week.
Yes.
And when he was showing us where there seems to be a lot of re-entry. It's not just going into the bathrooms and creating new stalls. It's going to be moving doors and
Correct.
walls. So this seems like it's a little more involved than.
It is, and there you're reflecting in some of that price.
It is there?
It is there, yes, absolutely. They have architect drawings that they all bid from. So you're right, absolutely, and that's kind of that price difference that's a little bit closer because of those, the doorways. And every school will be different if the board chooses to continue, at least having one of these sets of bathrooms. Again, it's both for the boys and the girls separately, that we're doing this. It really just depends on the school.
Sure.
But it'll be right around 300,000, it seems like.
Right.
Yes, Deanna.
So, I guess we were waiting to hear back on this.
Yes.
What, if the solid core panels, I'm assuming this is not for walls.
Correct. This is not
So
for walls. These are.
You were able to find solid core panels that work?
Correct. Yep. These are the same panels that that I'm being told that we'll use up at Highland. So they're the 8 footers. So you have just, I think it's only 2 or 3 inches at the bottom, and then maybe 5 inches at the top at 8 feet.
And is that just on the sides or
all
also
around
the door?
on the door as well.
On the door too?
Correct.
So if they get locked in the bathroom, they can just...
Yeah. If they locked, well, they'd have to, yeah,
They would have to file a missing...
They would, no, they would, there's ways there, but no, that, I'm sure that would never happen. But yes, that's why we call that high privacy, a regular, rather than just the regular that is kind of knee height, and a tall person can almost look over them.
Because the last bathrooms were walls, right?
They absolutely were
Okay.
walls at Hawthorne.
Okay.
Correct. Total privacy.
Okay.
They were almost little water closets. So again, before you, this is kind of just another option to kind of look and see. You can, we'll look at that, and the board can discuss. Okay, do we, after this project, do we continue this at other schools as well? Okay, we're in the R's. I think, no, this is the last one for this batch, yeah. This is for the roof. This is the original roof on Century, and so we've patched, and we've got a good amount of life out of this 20-year roof, and because we're, almost 26, 27 years since that roof had been installed. Again, we asked 7 vendors to come and bid. We had 5 received. One was, again, not responsive, did not answer all of the questions, actually. They didn't, one of the addendums. But we felt we had a good representation there. You'll see the spread. We were very...
Does that make you nervous?
We did call, I will commend Mr. Brian Glenn. We did call all-weather waterproofing out of Murray. We checked their references, and the good thing is that this bid spec was for a 30-year warranty.
Wow.
And that warranty has to come from the manufacturer. So we have that guarantee of both product and workmanship, because that's what this 30 years is for, is workmanship as well. So it is a new vendor for us, and so we will watch them. And obviously, we didn't share numbers because they're the ones that were at the bid opening. Obviously, on Wednesday when this went live, they could see the spread there, but that was 419,000 lower than everybody else. But we gave him the opportunity to check his numbers again. If he would have come back and said, "Oh no, I made a mistake," then of course they would not have been able to be bid or be used. But he came back and said, "Yep, those are my good numbers," and so we feel confident that we'll get a good, again, 30-year warranty, 80 mil membrane, and so that'll again last us for 30 years.
Wow.
There at Century. But again, that's another big savings, because that's, again, we were counting on those kind of that 1.2, 1.3 amount in our bid there.
A question from Deanna.
So, I guess I can ask you later.
You can ask, or whatever you'd like.
Okay, because I know it was mentioned in the SIP that how this relates to any of the remodeling, because obviously this is a brand-new roof.
Yes.
And so how does it relate to the remodeling that we had talked about before?
At Century High School? The remodeling to like the doors, or forgive me, I'm
No,
confused.
for the gym.
Oh,
the
yes,
gym
for the
and
gym.
everything like
So, Yes, so again, as we've shared with the board, one of the possible future projects, it would be a new gymnasium, new kind of wrestling room there for Century. This roof would, it would just be able to be tied right into.
Oh, so this wouldn't have to be torn off?
No, oh heavens, no, no. I mean, the section to kind of seam it together, yes, but
Oh.
no, we would not
Okay.
waste any of this money.
Oh, okay. I
and
just
that's-
wondered how that related to that.
Correct,
Because I
yeah.
thought that the roof had to come off in order to make that gym bigger.
I was just making it longer.
Yeah, I think it's just I think obviously there's a connection point there, but I
Okay.
think just in that connection point, it would just have to be kind of peeled back, but they do it all the time with additions, to make it waterproof.
Okay, I just wanted to know how that related, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, thanks. Wasn't that just an expansion to the south?
Correct,
And they were
yes.
going to rotate the existing gym, if I recall.
Correct.
correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would just be an expansion, pushing it out?
You're correct, yeah, just the expansion and pushing out, that we'll be able to use this entire roof, we won't void the warranty, and we would, because we would ask for the same, manufacturer to be used at that, when and if that project takes
Okay.
place there, to
Okay.
be used there. No, that's a good
I just
question.
wanted to know how that all kind of fit together.
You bet, you bet. No, that's good. Yeah, we will definitely not waste this money there, because as you know, it's a very long rectangle building, and that any expansion would just be a small portion of that.
Okay.
So I've got a final question then. All
Yes.
told, how much below budget did we come out here?
Okay, I did add that up. It's close to about 1.77 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, great job.
Sure,
In
well, and
savings or in expense?
Underneath
Under.
savings.
I'd say
Under
so. Okay.
1.77 million.
I was going to say, one of things
correct.
was.
Yeah, and again, it's the roof. It was, again, we had some great bids, as you could see. Yeah, I mean, this one, the roofing was 419,000 below the second, lowest bid.
Well, I know at the SIP committee, we were looking at, again, the roofing and the
The fire alarm.
protection.
Correct.
They were high
Those,
price items,
we just
but
didn't
we
know.
needed them,
Yeah.
Wow, great job.
Again, we're very fortunate with some of these bids there. As you know, this is the most I've ever seen there. Again, it just gives us good opportunities to do more projects in the future. So,
Great.
okay, I think that's all of them for this agenda item up for action, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, just any final questions or comments? Okay, then the board's ready to receive a motion. Thank you for this.
I hereby move that the board award the following bids as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded that we award all the following bids as presented just now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. All right, the next item on the agenda is the bid award for the Irving Middle School track.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I could at least do as I just had previously done, present it, and then obviously the board can have discussion there.
Of course.
Again, this is for a 3-lane at Irving Middle School. Again, we asked 5 vendors to bid. We received bids from 2 of them. As you can see there, it was Mickelson Construction, put in a bid for $163,600. Now, I wanted to clarify and make sure that, again, compared to the Franklin track that we did last year, which, as you remember, I used the word dip-de-doos in the base of Franklin, and so that was a complete base removal and put down, whereas the overwhelming majority of this base is still good. And so adding that, and I thought it was 1 foot, maybe it's 2 feet, to be able to add that 3rd lane. Obviously, very much smaller amount in the base. And so you'll see, if you compare that to what it was for the original for Franklin Middle School, you'll see this is a lot less, and that's because of the base. It still will be asphalt, rubberized, and so forth. So again, we had put in there $200,000 for that, and at least as it stands now, for the 3-lane is about $36,400 below that budget. So there, I present that to you, and you can have discussions.
Okay, let's hear from everybody first for the first round before we open it up in general. Who would like to go first?
Can I just ask a question?
Oh, sure, you bet.
Real quick? Is this the same people that did the Franklin track?
No, it actually was M&S Development.
Oh,
So he did not get that. But this is the same company that did the Century tennis courts.
Okay.
And so they're very well established. They've done a lot of good work in our communities, and this is not the first for us. So.
Okay. Well, let's start. Heather, would you like to go first?
Certainly. So as I mentioned earlier, we toured Irving this week, and I asked specifically to go take a look at the tracks because I wanted to set my eyes and feet on them, and was able to see very easily that the two-lane track, there's not a whole lot of room there, and so, but you could also see a little bit of where the base is and where the extension would be that also maintains the integrity of the soccer field. It was interesting when speaking with the principal, frankly, he didn't ask for this. And what was obvious is that there also are some things that they do need there. There's rocks that create a hazard, that to me seems even like more of a priority than the track, but I guess that's another discussion. But yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense with what's being proposed.
Yeah, well, like I say, we're going to discuss whether approved or not approved. Again, if people feel that the funds would be better spent elsewhere, they should feel free to express that. Megan, you can go next.
I just want to say that the information we had last week, hearing from all the admins, especially getting the email from Irving, the people that utilize the facility, like that was the most helpful information to me that I felt like was the missing pieces of the puzzle, was just hearing from everyone on how things are being utilized and what their needs are. So I'm really grateful to Tanya for sending us information. We got several emails all week. And thank you to those people that took the time to write us emails, to come talk to us. That was really helpful information to me. So,
Jim, would you like to go next?
Well, I don't know, I agree. We've heard a lot of stuff from the athletic directors and people, and I just feel like, we need to go forward with what we're doing, and I think it's the best move to make, so.
So you're in favor of the 3-lane?
Yep.
Deanna?
I am, and I feel comfortable with moving forward with it as well. It was incredibly helpful to have all the schedules, all the uses, particularly Travis really outlined more than I've ever seen. These are our challenges and this is what we have to use. It takes a lot of time to communicate all that information. I really appreciated it. But it's a lot, to me, it's a lot bigger than just this. And so to me, I almost feel like we should almost take a step back and say, let's take a look at everything that needs to be done as far as our sports facilities. Not everything. I'm just talking about sports facilities. Because, this is almost a brand new, it was really intended to be a walking path, but then ended up being rubberized. Because the original plan was to have only walking paths that were not rubberized at that meeting that keeps being referred to 6 years ago. So that meeting 6 years ago, there's been a lot of changes, and which is really great that now our middle schools have something to run on, which is, I think, really awesome, because there's 200 kids. I mean, they say, only 20 to 24 days. That's up to 200 kids per school. That's like 800 to 1,000 kids. I mean, it's a lot of kids. And I love that we are really making sure that we're paying attention to the soccer. I feel strongly that the original plan was the 3 tracks at the high school for 8 track programs. I didn't see at the time how that would work, and I'm really grateful that we've shifted and we're giving some space, for the middle school. I feel like we need 2 tracks for the 5 middle schools, because then it would also serve the community, and that is what the community wants. Like 100% of the community that gave us feedback all over this, throughout this time for the last 4 years. 100% of it has been, they want the tracks. And so that's kind of big, so they're the ones paying for it. So anyway, but that said, I feel comfortable that, that they feel positive, that they could practice on this, and they feel good about it. And again, it was so helpful to have all that information. It was so many pages of input that we received that it was very helpful, and I'm grateful to have that. But I do think that we need to consider just taking a step back with, a complete picture, instead of like, oh, this was maybe not a good idea, so we're going to fix it. Maybe just take a step back and say, we don't want to make any more mistakes. Let's just take a step back and make kind of a bigger, broader plan, because there were lists of we need this and we need this. And okay, so one thing that I do want to bring up is that the root of the problem is that there are not soccer fields for the high schools. And I would love it if we could solve that problem without kind of cannibalizing other programs. But I understand this with the lights. There's more infrastructure at Irving than anything else because that was a high school venue. So I appreciate that. There are locker rooms, there are lights, and there's a lot of things there. And I appreciate that. And so I do understand that. But I do think we need to solve the problem of the soccer fields and practice. And, the like I said before, the land at Jerome and Olympus, if we could maybe make a deal with the people that are, setting their equipment on that, hey, let's just make a deal. We could really use it if you could level that, in return for letting you store all that equipment. Just to level it for us, for 4 soccer fields or whatever. That's kind of the bigger, if you take a step back, that's what's caused all this, wanting to convert middle school tracks into soccer fields. But if we solve that problem first, then maybe, but I understand it's bigger than that. There's more parts. I understand there's more parts to it. But, just in general, I would like to kind of take, I'd look at the whole scope of all the needs. So anyway, that's it. But I support, Megan understands it's her zone, and I support you and, that, and so.
Yeah, please.
It is mine and Heather's zone, that area is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are you in that zone too?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a big area.
Yeah, it's split, yeah.
I didn't know yours wrapped around like that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You've got
I am all
you've got an enormous zone.
Yes.
In my zone.
I'll just have a little comment here before we start again. And of course, we'll have as much discussion as we want on this subject. There are a lot of elements to it.
Yeah.
No, I would just like to say that got a lot of good feedback, got a lot of good information. I think some of the people expressed a concern that the board is not listening to them. But, we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different interests, and we spend a lot of time working here to serve the public, and we can't have a complete knowledge of everything that's going on. And so just having the discussion, I learned a whole lot more about how the facilities are being used and the importance of the soccer program, et cetera. And so I think it's good we had this discussion because everybody gets a chance to get on board with the same information. And I was also pleased to discover that people feel that the Franklin track is working out well. We revisited that issue, and I think that turned out to be a good decision. People are happy with that. So it's good to talk and learn about these things. I think what we might want to discuss some more again, and I think Heather kind of brought it up, is cost-benefit ratio or whatever, because we did have some comments saying that we have a whole bunch of other considerations we need to look at. And, let's have that discussion now in an open meeting here, so everybody can express how they feel about that before we rush to go to a vote. So Heather, you requested?
Before you move on to that, I do think it's important that it would be disingenuous to not acknowledge that there has been significant looks and study, and what we have today in our athletic facilities is nothing short of, the benefits that we have now put in over the last couple of years, just in my very short tenure with the softball, the football, the fields. It would be disingenuous to not acknowledge that kind of study and work by our athletic directors has happened.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't think it's something that has been ignored or has not been studied so I just think, and the sponsorships to help pay and take care of some of these things. I know we're all looking down that tunnel of how do we maintain, and I am very confident that there are some very great minds that are looking at that and preparing for that. So
Yeah.
I just think we need to be cognizant of that.
Mm-hmm. No, I
Not-
would agree, and
not
of course, that's...
discount what's been done.
Oh, I would agree as well with
Yeah.
all of that.
No, and again, when people come in to speak and they write the letters, you have an opportunity to realize all of that's going
Mhm.
on, and we do appreciate all the hard work the people are doing there, the athletic directors and et cetera, all the people
Mhm.
involved in that team. Anyone else wish to be recognized?
Well, I just would, yes, just to reiterate, it would be nice if we were kind of included in, the kind of scope of everything we need, and kind of putting, because all this information that we got was just, really very a game changer for me. I didn't have that information when I first voted, and it's been very valuable for me. I appreciate a lot more things, and especially the work. I think the athletic director's job is, maybe I shouldn't say the hardest job, but at the high school level, it might be. It might be. But I know that everyone does a really good job, but it is an incredibly difficult job. And, any inference that we don't appreciate it is dead wrong. It isn't true in the least, because I feel like we all very much appreciate that incredible amount of work. It's great. That's all that my thoughts.
Okay. Well, then, if no one else has any comments or discussion, then I guess we're ready to receive a motion on this agenda item in regards to the 3-lane track at Irving Middle School.
I hereby move that the board award the Irving Middle School track bid as presented.
As a 3-lane track.
I
Mhm.
second it.
And that motion, so the motion has been made and seconded that we we approve the 3-lane track at Irving Middle School. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Next on the list is the donation request.
Yes. This is very, very small. The administrator, who I've actually previously worked with for the Chief Tahagi Elementary Academy out at the Fort Hall Indian Reservation, they have a new building, if you've been by there, and they're looking for some donations for some equipment, tables, desks, chairs, bookshelves. This is what their email said to them, and my ask or recommendation for you is that we give them the surplus that we might have, to help outfit that, outfit that building. Again, these are surplus to us that have been in storage that would go to auction. I will tell you, it is well below this $5,000 limit. We do not get very much for a desk or a chair on any of these auctions. And a lot of times they even go to the landfill. So obviously, if we don't have any bookshelves for them, we won't, give them any. But this, I wanted to put their entire list of what they're kind of looking for and ask the board if it was okay that we donate any of our surplus items to Chief Tahagi Elementary Academy.
Okay.
Well, I would like to make a comment first. I mean, it's my understanding that the Chief Targhee is the dual immersion program, and so they're learning the Bannock or whatever the language over there. I think that's great. That we should encourage that. I hate to see these indigenous languages disappear, and I'm really glad that they're doing that up there. And I think this is really a worthy donation to a worthy cause. Anyone else have an input? No one else wishes to comment on it? Yeah, please do.
So basically, we're just going to let them go through all of our stuff that we don't need. And out of that, they can just take whatever that they need. Like if we don't have bookshelves, obviously we won't
Correct.
be giving them bookshelves, but anything that we do have.
That is correct.
Okay.
And
That's
just
great.
that we've designated as surplus in prior years or in the fall, that we potentially would put up for auction. We'd rather donate them and they could get a better value. Again, it is provided that we can go school district to school district donations, as long as it's under that $5,000, and it definitely will be.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I love that we can help them out. I think that's,
Yeah.
builds a good community.
Okay, then if we have no more comments or questions, I'm ready to receive a motion that we donate the unused school furniture to the Chief Targhee Elementary Academy as presented.
I move that we donate all this to the Chief Targhee Elementary.
Is there a second for the motion?
The school.
That's
Second.
good.
Sorry.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded that we donate our unused school furniture to the Chief Targhee Elementary Academy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next up on the agenda is the superintendent's report by Superintendent Howell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So first up is your calendar, and it looks like this one should be a go for District Curriculum Committee.
Oh, no, we canceled.
Oh.
Sorry.
I-
No, I'm so sorry. We were doing it in April.
Oh, okay.
I thought that, Trina, sorry, I really apologize.
I think I sent out the cancellation after I had put this in the packet.
Okay, all right. Well, strike all of that, and never mind. We're not having it up at all. So spring break takes up a chunk of that next week, all of next week.
Enjoy your time off.
Yeah, enjoy your time, please. Then we'll have you back on April 1st, Wednesday, for student discipline hearings, and I know we have at least 2 scheduled, so we'll need your assistance at that meeting. I see 4 board visits listed for April 3rd, but I'm wondering if that first one to Century High School, Ms. Johnson, if it got cut off? I'm not seeing any names associated with that one.
I know I'm going to that. I don't know.
I think I requested to go to that one too, didn't I?
Okay, I'm gonna have to pull my
I
calendar.
said that's the
Sorry.
one high school I haven't
Okay.
been to yet.
Yeah.
We will
actually-
confirm
my
that with you and make sure we
calendar
get the
too.
appropriate invitations sent to the
Yes.
correct board members. So we have a combination of Century Hawthorne, Tendoy, and Syringa scheduled for visits on that day.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes, sure.
I appreciate, everyone's input. I appreciate, I wouldn't want anybody to feel like we don't care. Because I've been going to schools almost every Friday, at least 2, and sometimes 3 in a week. And so I just want to, just convey that I definitely care about what's going on in the schools. And it is hard to get to all of them every, obviously we can't get to all of them every quarter or whatever, but yeah, I've been to all of them, but I'm repeating them and I love it. I think I really should write what I love about each of the schools. Because it's a really big deal and really important to all of us, I think. I think it's really good for all of us.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, I've visited all except 3 schools before I got injured, and I have been to Alameda. I think the comment was made, people haven't been here for years, but I was there less than 2 years ago, And I certainly do enjoy visiting the schools. Right now, I'm in a situation where sometimes with my rehab or something, I'm a little sore and don't sleep that well, or if there's a lot of walking to do, I'm not getting around to the schools, but I hope to get back into the full swing of that soon. Really love to go out to the buildings and meet the administrators and get a look at things. And so appreciate the visits a lot, and they are important to us.
Thank you. Picking up on April 10th, that will be Local Issues Committee. If you're interested in that one, or Tuesday, April 14th for the Community Prevention Meeting, please RSVP Ms. Johnson. Tax Day is noted there for you, as well as Easter in the April month. And then student discipline hearings, just a placeholder for now until we get closer to that date. And that takes us out to April 21st, which will be our regular board meeting. Mr. Chair, if I may, my voices may not hold out, and I have quite a bunch of notes in regard to the legislative update.
Yes.
If it would be all right, I will just put these notes in a written format, and I can email that out to all of you.
Sure, and of course, we do have both attachments here for the...
Yeah, I think it's Capital Notes 7 and 8.
Yes.
The latest, which we published before it comes out on Friday from Ms. Berry at our school boards. So 9 is also likely available in your email, but then I have some other updates which have even transpired since Friday.
Yes, of course.
And so I would like to include those if I could in the narrative.
Yeah, we understand, and I think that's
Yes.
acceptable to all of us.
And you should stop talking,
Yeah.
making all of us feel bad.
Unless anyone wants to punish you, we'll...
No, I think we should. just-
Thanks.
All right.
Under my next item, it's actually the policies, and we talked about some of those last week. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Johnson and let her pick it up.
Save your voice a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the policies, I did just go ahead and leave all of our policy numbers on there for now until we get closer to kind of adopting all of the ISBA's policies. And then we can look at recodifying if that's what the board wants to do. So right now, the first one is 3301, public records. It just looks like a rewrite. A lot of it was pretty similar to our policy. And the only thing that we have changed from ISBA is just to put our actual fee schedule in the public records request. Do you have any questions on that one? Okay, the next one is the draft policy 6311, which is for virtual instruction. And I think that we kept that one pretty close to ISBA's, except for, I think it was how we kept attendance was based on the completion of work. And everybody was kind of okay with.
And so
going that
my
direction.
understanding is that we did not have a policy, and this is just basically the
Correct.
ISBA slightly tailored to fit us.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Oh, Megan, did you have a question? or-
Nope.
Okay, I saw a hand. Please do continue.
Okay, so the next one is policy 8201, student placement, retention, credits, promotion, and acceleration. I just took the paragraph out of that policy, so it would be first reading with that paragraph removed. And that was because ISBA has their middle school advancement policy on its own. So I have included a new policy for 8205 middle school advancement requirements that takes the components from ISBA and just leaves a couple of sentences from our old policy, but it's pretty much the ISBA policy now. And so those would all be for first reading.
Are there any further questions regarding these policies? Well, then I'm ready to receive a motion that the board hear the following policies on first reading as presented.
I hereby move that the board hear the following policies on first reading as presented: 3301, 6311, 8201, and 8205.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded that we hear these policies on first reading: 3301, 6311, 8201, and 8205. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. I hereby move that the board adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
That motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?